Yay! It's you, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here for another episode of The One Behind the Lens. Today's episode is the one with the business game plan, and I've brought in the one and only Andrew Hellmich to break it all down with us. If you've ever felt overwhelmed trying to figure out how to price your work, run a successful Facebook ad, or just create a business plan that actually works, this one's for you. Andrew brings years of photography and podcasting wisdom to the table. And in this conversation, we really dive into what photographers, especially those in their first few years, can do to build a strong foundation. You'll hear real talk about what actually makes a Facebook ad work, how to avoid common pricing mistakes, and why confidence and clarity are just as important as your camera's settings. This episode is jam-packed with value, so grab your notebook, your notes app, and let's get into it. Welcome to the one behind the lens, the show for photographers building bold, beautiful businesses behind the lens. I'm Kate Biz Bestie, and I got one thing to say before we begin. So Andrew, thank you so much for being on the One Behind the Lens. I am so excited to have you here.
Look, it's an absolute pleasure for me, Kate. It's nice to be on the other side of the microphone for a change. I don't know what you're going to ask me. I don't know where the conversation is going to go, but yeah, I'm excited to be on the other side for a change.
I was going to say, are you excited, or are you like, what's going to happen type thing? Like,
No, I'm excited. I think like when I do my interviews, I'm certainly not trying to catch anyone out. I don't think anyone's really trying to do that with most of the shows that I listen to. So no, I'm excited. I'm interested to hear what you're going to ask me and where the conversation goes.
gonna go. Well, awesome. Well, I know that the listeners just want to probably get right into it. You've been in the photography world for, I think, over 2 decades. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I just want to know what drew you in originally and what has kept you going throughout all these years.
Sure. Yeah, look, it's an interesting for me because I got into photography through fishing. I was a mad keen fisherman,
Oh,
and I was trying to get published in fishing magazines, and I could easily write a fishing article, but I had to learn how to submit or create photos to accompany the articles to get published. So I bought my first camera. I had to shoot slide film back in the day. And shooting slide film means that it's like shooting raw. Well, it's actually, it's not. It's like shooting JPEGs where you have to get the exposure correct in camera because you can't correct the image once you've taken it on slide film.
oh,
So there's
okay.
no, if you don't nail the exposure, if you don't nail, the image in camera, then there's no fixing it afterwards. So I learned pretty quickly how to take a good photo. And I fell in love with the photography side of things, even though I was getting published in these magazines. I had a few covers as well, and it was great fun. I absolutely loved it, but it got me addicted to photography. I had a good friend of mine who was a wedding photographer, and I said to him, can I come out and accompany you and see what this whole thing is all about? And he said, yeah, sure. And I accompanied him on a few weddings. He allowed me to shoot a little bit over his shoulder and take some photos, and then he said, look, you can use the photos that you've taken in your own portfolio. You can't use my photos, but you can use the ones that you've taken. And from there, I booked a friend, my fishing buddy. I booked his sister's wedding.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and look, interestingly, she was a larger woman and she was marrying a larger guy. And this was my very first wedding. So, I mean, I worked my butt off to get the best photos I could at the time. They weren't amazing images, but I did a good coverage. And I loved the idea of being a wedding photographer. I knew that's what I wanted to do at that stage. And with that wedding, all she paid was for double prints. So she got one set of prints, I got the other set of prints, and that was my first full wedding portfolio. And I
Okay.
went off to a bridal show. I think you guys call them bridal fairs, maybe in the
Yeah. Or
States.
bridal shows. Yeah. Yeah.
Bridal show? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to my wife and I, Linda, we went to our very first bridal fair, and that was my only wedding, my only full wedding, and I had these other images that I'd created. People dressed up in wedding dresses, and also weddings from Mark's clients, my photographer friend, and we proceeded to book an absolute ton of weddings. And
Oh,
interestingly,
wow.
it was all larger couples because that was the only couple I'd photographed, and I was the only photographer showing larger couples in their portfolio out of all the other photographers.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So that definitely like gave you, yeah, like people being like, hey, he knows how to shoot, you know, bigger bodies. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
And
that's
and look, I
awesome.
wasn't I wasn't amazing at it. I didn't know, all the tricks and tools of the trade, I guess you'd say, like at that stage. I was only very new to it. But no other photographer was showing larger couples. Everyone wanted to show that the model type couple,
Right.
which I wanted to photograph the models as well, but I just didn't have any in my portfolio.
Sure.
But it was the best introduction because I work with amazing couples. I booked so many from that first bridal fair, and yeah, look, I never looked back. My wife and I, we partnered in the business. She's not a shooter. She does all the admin side of things, and yeah, the photography business was born. I still had a full-time job at that point, but then yeah. Fast forward a number of years, I went part-time at the full-time job, and then I quit the full-time job and went full-time photography, and that was yeah, 20 years earlier.
That is awesome. And when you were saying that about, the models versus the regular, basically a regular couple, like you were and it's kind of interesting how you were showing a regular couple and then you were getting booked because I get it where it's like you want to shoot the models that they already know how to pose. They already know, like that kind of thing, but um it definitely showed that you can shoot regular couples. And so I think that's interesting how then people were booking, they were gravitating towards what you had, what you were
100%. Yeah,
showing.
and you know what? I think I see a lot of that today, but the genre where I see that mostly is the boudoir photographer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see a lot of them are showing in their portfolios, regular women,
Mm-hmm.
generally women in their portfolios. They're not showing the size 6 or size 8 woman in across their website. They're showing the plus size or plus size figured women, and because that's their general client, and
Mm-hmm.
their money is as good as anyone else's money when it comes to running a business, and they
Right.
want to have great photos of themselves too. Yeah, I mean, I think any genre can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Show regular people, show them an amazing time, a great experience, and yeah, everyone deserves fantastic photography, and everyone's happy to pay for it if you can produce the work and the experience.
The experience. Yeah. Yep. So, Andrew, so you're not only a photographer, I do want to touch on this a little bit that you've built one of the top business resources for creatives. So, what inspired you to start PhotoBizX?
Yeah, I used to listen to so many podcasts, and I also used to go to quite a few conferences and live training sessions for photographers, presentations from other photographers on business. And for me, that was part of the AIPP, the Australian Institute of Professional Photographers,
Oh, okay.
and they were mainly live event. And I had the best time. I learned so much from so many other photographers and industry experts. And at the time when I was listening to so many podcasts, and what happened was the AIPP was sort of fizzling out, and there was less and less of these conferences happening. And I thought, I honestly thought, why can't we listen to these same people, these same speakers, these same experts in a podcast? Because there really wasn't that kind of podcast out there at the time. So this is going back a little while. So when I started PhotoBizX, that was I think 13 or 14 years ago now. So it was quite early on,
Okay. Yeah.
and yeah, my My whole aim was to produce the kind of content that I was hearing at these actual workshops with other photographers and marketing and advertising experts and sales experts and business people, and yeah, creating content that I felt was worth paying for, because I did have to charge for it from the beginning. Because I
Okay.
said to my wife Linda, I said, look, I want to start a podcast, and she said, well, how much time is it going to take out of the week? I said, well, in the beginning, 1 day a week at least. And she said, well, if you don't want to do it on the weekend or one of your weekend days when you're not shooting weddings and working in the business, I mean, it doesn't make sense for you to do that unless it's bringing in some income.
Oh,
So
sure.
I had a I had a free portion of the interviews going out every single week, and then I had a paid portion of the interviews. And I did that from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I never hid that fact that it had to pay its way. And after the first interview I had a paying subscriber, and I thought, okay, people are interested. And then it grew from there. And like I said, that was 13, 14 years ago, and it's been growing ever since. It's been an incredible journey. I still pinch myself, and I love that I get to do what I do. The pressure's on me to produce the kind of content that's worth paying for. If no one pays for it,
Mm,
then the podcast wouldn't exist. I
sure.
wouldn't same as the listener. I mean, if the listener has a photography business, no matter how good you are, if no one's paying for you to take photos, you don't have a business. You're not going to be a successful photographer. You
Right.
might be a good photographer and have it as a hobby, but unless you have a way for someone to pay you and you can generate an income doing it, then yeah, you're gonna have a hard time keeping that photography business going.
Why do so many photographers feel overwhelmed by marketing?
Could be because they're trying too many things.
Mm,
It could be because they're trying things that just aren't working. That's probably the main one. If someone's overwhelmed by it, it's generally because they've tried something, it didn't work the first time, then they try something else, that didn't work the first time, and then they try something else, and they're on this circle of failure and never
sure.
sort of feeling like they're cracking the code and getting somewhere with it. Whereas the successful photographer generally get some kind of marketing working, then they introduce a new kind. They get that working in conjunction with the other one, and slowly, like you'll hear, certainly if you listen to the successful photographers that I've interviewed, most of the successful ones will have three, four, five, up to nine, or even 12 different marketing channels running at the same time, which seems incredible when you're starting out. But
Right.
you can start with one and get that dialed in, but I would never encourage anyone to rely on only one, no matter how good it's working.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you could be running Facebook ads. That'd be a good example. You could certainly run then Facebook competitions, which I would say are similar.
Mm,
You could run, but then on the other hand, you could partner with another business who's also serving your ideal clients and have them say hand out vouchers to their best clients for a photography session. So I'd say that's a totally different kind of marketing. I'd call
sure.
that third party marketing. Then you could go to, say, an expo. Let's say you're a pet or a family photographer. You go to a family or a home builders expo, and you have your stand there, and you have a QR code, and you're trying to get leads there. So again, I think that there's certainly different ways to generate leads.
Sure.
Um,
So not just online.
100% no. No, I would not rely just on one sole source of leads. And the problem with saying that and and following through with that is, let's say you get really good at Facebook ads. It's very difficult to not do anything else. But look,
Oh,
a case in point is I interviewed a really successful photographer recently, Marcus Anthony, and he's bringing in like over $1 million in sales and leads through Facebook ads. He knows how to run a successful Facebook ad campaign, but
sure.
it still scares him to only be relying on Facebook, because it's not always going to work. It can be fickle. So
Right.
he's always trying other things, even though they're not working as well as Facebook ads for him at the moment. He's still always trying other things, and that's the right way to run a business.
How can a photographer, like, can you explain how to help navigate Facebook ads?
Are we talking to a photographer who is looking to build a portfolio? Is it someone who has a great portfolio and a website and they're looking now to start charging? Is it someone who's already charging and wants to charge more and get more clients? Like who are we talking about?
I would say the second and third ish. Like,
Okay.
yeah, they have a portfolio.
So for any photographer, so this goes for the photographers that you're referring to, and anyone that's even more successful, and really, I guess even someone that's trying to build their portfolio, they need to get clients in front of their camera. If you're not shooting and not producing content to sell to your clients, then you don't have a business. There's no chance of ever building a business. So, and you also need to be getting good at doing what you're doing, and the easiest way to do that is to shoot more. So I would suggest running an ad and offering free sessions, because people don't want to pay for something they can't see, that they haven't experienced yet. So let's take away the risk for them, the stress for them, the worry for them,
Right.
and let's give them a no-brainer option to take up our services. Like, come in, have a free session. There's no obligation to buy. I'm even going to include, let's say, a 14 by 11 print. It could be a print. It could be a print credit. It could be a 5 by 7 if you're really scared to give away a 14 by 11. But let's say we're going to remove all the risk from the potential client, from the lead. So we're going to give away a free session, and that could be an outdoor session. It could be a studio session. It could be whatever you shoot as a photographer, or whatever the listener is doing. It wouldn't work for a wedding photographer, but you could certainly give away an engagement session if you're looking
Oh
to
yeah,
book
that's a
weddings.
great idea. Yeah.
So I did this. I booked a ton of weddings this way by offering free engagement sessions. So this works for, I would say, 99% of genres. So I'm going to give away a free session. I'm going to include a free print or a credit, and we can discuss the differences there. And I'm going to advertise for them on Facebook. And it's super easy. So what I'm trying to do is get people in front of my camera, and then if we sort of jump ahead, all I'm looking to do is, let's say I'm a wedding photographer. I want to get an engaged couple in front of my camera. I want to show them a fantastic time at that engagement session. I want to show them how I work, that I'm confident with my camera. I'm confident with them, with posing, creating a great rapport, having them laugh and have a good time, if that's the kind of photographer that I am. And then have them come back and see the photos and, be in tears and fall in love with the photos, the photography that I've created. And to the point where they wanted to book me for their wedding, and that's a win. And then I still have the option to make the sales from that engagement session. So we can talk about how you might do that, whether we give them away if they book us for the wedding. If this is a family or a pet photographer, for example, same thing. I deliver a great experience on that session with the family, and the family come in, or the mum and dad come back in. Or the parents, they see the photos. I show them the photos, with a slideshow. They're in tears watching them because the photos are beautiful. They choose their free print, or I tell them about the credit and ask them what else they want for their home.
Right.
To me, it's a no-brainer. It's so simple. If I can
Right.
deliver a great experience, produce great images, they're going to. I just want to give them the option to buy. That's all I'm
Yes.
trying to do. Give them
Right.
the option to buy. But to do that, I need to have them in front of my camera. So if I take you back to the Facebook ad, so you tell me, Kate, who are we? Are we a pet photographer, a family photographer, a wedding
Uh,
photographer?
let's do some family. Let's be a
Okay.
family photographer.
So the slightly tricky thing with family or family photographers, it's very difficult to attract a family with a Facebook ad. It can work, but it's
Okay.
more difficult than, say, aiming for the kids. So I'm gonna run an ad
Oh,
trying to target kids. When I say
okay.
kids, I want mum to respond to the ad, but I'm going to be saying I'm looking for kids, and then I'm going to, when I get her on the phone, try and get the other partner, generally dad, in on the session as well, because I'm trying to get the whole family there, but I'll still photograph just the kids if I have to. But I know
Okay.
the sales will be better if I can get the whole family there. So
Right.
if I'm a family photographer, I'm going to advertise for kids. It could be kids with their pet dog. It could be kids who play musical instruments. It could be kids who are into sports. It could be blue-eyed kids, brown-eyed kids. It could be twins, redheads. I'm going to be a little bit specific with who I'm targeting rather than just going general. It could
Okay.
be kids between 5 and 10 or 5 and 12.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm going to say something like, and I want to have a headline that speaks to the mother who's going to be scrolling through their Facebook feed or their Instagram feed. So I'm going to say something like, wanted kids with their pet dog who love to get outside and have an adventure, something like that. So
Okay.
because I can see you're smiling here. I don't even know. Do you have kids? Are you married with kids?
I don't have, well, I have a partner, he has kids.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. But they're in
Okay. So,
college, like they're grown.
oh,
So,
they're a bit
but
older. Okay,
yeah,
they're a bit
yeah.
older. Okay. So, I mean, but I'm sure that you can see because you're smiling as I'm saying this. If you see that headline in your feed, it probably is going to grab your attention. And that's all I want to do with that headline is
Right.
grab your attention. I'm going to grab
Okay.
mum's attention. And now to accompany this ad, I've only talked about the headline so far. I'm going to have a great photo, and I want a photo that is just going to grab the attention enough to stop someone scrolling through the feed. Now, it may not be exactly what I produce for the family because I might create say have a silhouette or a black and white photo, something I just want something to grab mum's attention when she's scrolling.
Okay.
It could be something in my style, exactly like I would normally present, but it's got to be something that's bold, something that catches mum's attention as she's scrolling.
Okay.
And then I want
Yes.
her to read that headline, and when she reads that headline, I want her to think, "Oh my God, whoever's written this is talking to me. This is my kids. We've got a
Hmm.
pet dog. They love getting outside and getting dirty and having an adventure. Like this photographer is talking to my kids." Then once you have the headline, the whole or the sole job of the headline is to get them to read the next line in the ad. Now, in the ad, what I want to have is a reason that I'm actually running the ad, why I'm giving away these shoots. I want to have a hook or maybe two different hooks to get people in. And I want to have a call to action. So to tell people what to do to actually become my lead to get one of these free sessions. And I want to make it shareable. I want to encourage people to share this with their friends who have kids and dogs as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
we sort of step through that list, I've got my headline, and I would say something like, so I've said wanted kids with their pet dog who are adventurous, love to get outside and play and have fun, something like that. And then I'm going to say something like, I'm looking for 5 kids to have a free photo session. And I would say, now I know some photographers don't like using the word free in their ads. I'm
Mm.
totally fine with that. Some people like to use complimentary.
Complimentary. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got no problem with free because free's free. Everyone
Right.
knows what
Right.
free means. I'm
Right.
not trying to
Yes.
hide the fact I'm giving these away.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would even say, I would even say these sessions are free, and then in full stop, capitals, yes, free. Plus, I'll include a 14 by 11 print to say
Mm.
thank you. So
Hmm.
I am making it so clear that this is a no-brainer for this family that they're going to want to come in and do this. They might be thinking, "What's the catch?" But I'm trying to
Right.
make it clear, like this is free, and I'm going to include a free print or a print credit. But there's only 5. I'm only giving away 5 away, so that's the scarcity. That's one of the
Mm.
hooks. Okay,
Hmm.
so one of the
Hmm.
hooks is that it's free. The other hook is there's only 5 to give away. And then I've got to say what to do next. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. So if you're talking about the photographer who's newer, like you said at the beginning,
Right.
we're going to make it really easy for them. So instead of running what's called a lead ad, where you need to have other software like Zapier and things like that, what we're going to do instead is we're going to run our ad and have it optimized for engagement. So we're going to say to get involved or to learn more about the sessions, let me know the age of your kids down below, or let me know what breed of dog. If people feel funny about you don't want to ask too personal a question about the kids, like you don't want to ask
Sure.
their name. People
Mm.
don't want to
Mm.
share that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you might say, "Tell me what breed of dog you have in the down below." Okay, so you don't
Hmm.
want to say comment below Facebook doesn't like that, or it didn't used to like that. So we're trying to do all the things we can to make sure our ad gets shown. So let me know down below what breed of dog you have. Something like that. Because all I want to do is get people to comment. And I could even say, feel free to include a photo. The cuter, the better. And I'm going to tell you how to encourage people to do that in just a minute. But what I'm trying to do is get people who read my ad to leave a comment below my ad. Because once they've left a comment, I can DM them directly from Facebook. And I can tell them the next step.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I can send them to my landing page with a questionnaire. That's probably that it would be the next step, or I could keep them in the DMs and sort of converse with them that way. But generally, I want to get them over to a landing page where I can get their details and some more information. So I'm going to say leave a comment. Sorry, not leave a comment. I'm going to say let me know the breed of your dog down below. Feel free to include a photo. The cuter, the better. And then I want to make it shareable. So then what I would say for my last line is something like, if you know an amazing family with the cutest kids who have the best dog, please make sure they see this photo. Please make sure they see this post.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying tag and share with your friends, because Facebook, again, doesn't often like that. Sometimes you can get penalized for saying tag and share, or you used to. So we generally don't say that. So what I want to do by saying, if you know an amazing family, so if I say to you, Kate, if I say to you, if you know an amazing family with the most gorgeous kids, an amazing dog who all adore each other, can you let them know about this thing? So you're thinking of someone or a couple of people, and the reason you want to share it with them is because they are going to see that you think they're an amazing family with cute kids and a beautiful dog.
Right.
So you're being the nice person by sharing it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it gets so many more shares and people getting tagged when you have a line like that. And then, so once then I have all my comments coming in, I can start sending people into my landing page. And so on my when I say landing page, generally what that is a page on my website. Now you can use something like Jotform, but generally I'm going to have a hidden page on my website. Generally a landing page doesn't have any navigation. So once they go there, they don't go anywhere else on the website. They have to basically do whatever's on the landing page, or they go back out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So on that landing page, I'm going to have a questionnaire. So I want to look for their names, the ages of the kids, maybe the names of the kids, the breed of the dog, how old the dog is, maybe where they like to hang out. Is it the beach, the park, maybe which one? You might say something like, what would you like to do with the photos if you fall in love with them? Would you like, and then give them the option, would you like some wall art? Would you like an album? Do you just want the free print?
Right.
Maybe you're not sure until you see them. So I'm going to give people a few options. For the people that say, and I'm going to get their contact details as well. Now, the people that say they want wall art, and they sound like a great fit, they're obviously going to get the first phone call to say, Kate, you sound amazing. Let's get you in for a photography session. And,
yes.
We're going to get
yes.
So now, even though, so the other thing I didn't really say, or I haven't shared yet, is the fact that even though I've advertised that there's 5 sessions only, I don't have to only give away 5 sessions. I have to give away 5 as a minimum, but I could end up with 50, 60, 80, 100 leads from this one ad. And I can give away as many sessions as I want to. I don't have to give away just 5.
Right.
And if anyone questions me on that, I'd say, listen, you just sound like an amazing family. Like you're my perfect family. You just fit all the details. You live local to me. The kids sound incredible. They're similar age to my kids. Whatever. I love that breed of dog. I'd love to have photos of you guys in my portfolio. Whatever.
Right.
No one cares.
No.
They're getting the free shit.
They're getting the free. Yeah. I don't know if anyone's really going to question it, because they're getting that free session.
And it wasn't a competition. It just said I've got 5 to give away. I can give away as many as I want to.
Right.
And it's not a bait and switch. I'm giving away the free session. I'm doing that. I'm going to give away the 14 by 11 print,
Mm-hmm.
or the 5 by 7 or 8 by 12, whatever you want to give away.
Mm-hmm.
But my hope and my in my experience, when I deliver a great experience at the session, and I've found out all the details about the family and the relationship they have with their dog, and between dad and the kids and mum and the kids, and I photographed all those things in their favorite park or in their favorite beach. I know that when they see those photos, they don't only want just the one 14 by 11, but
Right.
I'm gonna give them the opportunity to buy, bigger wall art, an album, maybe buy the digital files if I'm starting out, whatever it may be.
Friend, let's be real. This podcast would still be a scribble in my notebook if it weren't for Taylor Aller. She's been in my corner through all the behind the scenes magic, helping me actually make this thing happen. Taylor is a business strategist, speaker, and the queen of helping multi-passionate creatives build businesses that actually work for their lives, not the other way around. Want a taste of her brilliance? Snag her Make It Happen Planner and Private Podcast Series, a behind-the-scenes look at how to create real momentum without chaos. The links are in the show notes. Trust me, you want Taylor in your corner too.
So you need to have a business page. You create the post. So you basically create the copy and have the photo, and that's just a post on your timeline or in your feed, and to just go through all the things I've already shared. And we're gonna have a cheat sheet for people as well, so they can follow. They can do this
Oh,
themselves
that's
with the
right.
cheat.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So once you have the post on your page, the other thing I alluded to earlier, I said feel free to upload a photo. The cuter, the better. So what I would do
Oh, yeah.
is I would contact one of my friends, someone I know personally or family, and say, hey, listen, I've just put a post up on my feed. Can you go in there and just post a photo of your kids with the dog, and tell me the breed of the dog? Because I want to have some social proof that it's okay to do this, to post.
Right.
So I'm going to get one of my friends to do that. Obviously, they're not going to win the free photo session, but I just want to show other people that it's okay to do this, and other people are doing it. And then once you have the post up there, and you may or may not have your friends comment already, you go into your ads manager, and you can Google or use AI to talk you through how to set up ads manager if you have never done that before. And basically, you're going to go in there and create an ad from your post, it's quite easy to do. We're not going to go into all the details, but what you want to do is, I said you want to optimize for engagement. So there's different things you can, when you create an ad, you can optimize generally for traffic, where you're going to have a link in your ad and you want to send people away from Facebook to a landing page, for example. That's optimizing for traffic. You can optimize for leads, which is where you might run a lead ad, whereas that's where, if I want to say click on learn more in the ad, a little box is going to pop up. It might be pre-populated with some of the things that Facebook knows about you, like your name and email address and phone number. But that's the one where I said it's a bit more tricky because you need to have Zapier to bring those leads over to your CRM.
Oh, that's right.
So we're going to do the other one, which is optimized for engagement, because we want Facebook to show our post, our ad, to people that are likely to upload a photo and leave a comment. And that's what optimizing for engagement means. And then we'll set a budget. So look, I would say for the listener, if they're starting out with this, run your ad for 7 days straight. I would generally only show it in the Facebook feed to start with. So don't show it in stories. I wouldn't show it in Instagram to start with. I would just show it just on the Facebook feed, just so you know exactly where your money's going as you're learning what to do with these ads. And then you can start to expand into those other areas once you've got a grip on how all this works. And I would have a budget of between, say, $100 and $200 to start with. So that's running for 7 days, and that just runs for 7 days straight. I'm just going to let Facebook use that budget as it sees fit.
Okay.
If it's going really well, you can increase the budget a little bit each day if you want to. If the leads are coming in really well for the first 4 days and they just stop, then you can just stop your ad if you want to, and the post will still live on there. So it doesn't have to be overly complicated. So
Right.
you're basically creating an ad for 7 days, have a budget of $100 to $200, and show it on the Facebook feed and just monitor how it goes. Now, one of the big mistakes, you asked about mistakes, one of the big mistakes that people make is once you create an ad, you have to give Facebook at least an absolute minimum 48 hours for it to do its thing. It takes time for Facebook to find the right people to respond to your ad. And if you make a change to your ad, you need to wait another 48 hours, 48 hours for it to work. So you need to create your ad and just don't touch it. You can monitor it, but you can't make changes.
Right. No, that makes sense. Like, yeah, just leave it alone, walk away.
Leave it alone. That's exactly, yeah. Monitor it. And the other thing you do want to do is when you get comments, comments on your ad or your post, you want to reply to those comments. So you're going to say something, hey Kate, I just saw your comment. The dog looks amazing. Your kids are so cute. I've sent you a DM. It could be in your other folder. And then
Right.
in the DMs, I'm going to send you a link to the landing page, and I'm going to say, hey Kate, just saw your post or your comment on Facebook. You guys look amazing. The next step, just to make sure you're a good fit, is to head over to my little questionnaire. There's a few simple questions there, and then I'll be back in touch once you've completed that. And I include the link. So then I'm going to send you from Facebook or Messenger over to my landing page and questionnaire.
And like you said, leave the ad alone, but
Yes.
focus on commenting or getting people responding to their comments.
100%, yes. And Facebook loves that. So if the more comments and the more replies and things like that are happening, the back and forth in the comments area of a post, the more Facebook will show your post. And it's going to show it anyway because of the ad, because you're paying for it to be shown. But you're going to get some organic reach with your post as well, just by having that engagement.
I think the greatest tip is just leave the ad alone. Like, get it.
Yeah, that's right. Leave the ad alone.
Yes.
That's it. And then from there,
Yeah.
look, really, it's a matter of booking people in, and then delivering on what you can do. Give them a great experience, whether that's a studio session or an outdoor session. Create great images, and then doing sales. I mean, you're probably going to have other guests on your show, but that's a whole other topic, on sales and presentation and conversion and things like that.
And I think what you touched on there is deliver what the ad is advertising.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And yeah, so I think, yeah, it'd be remiss of me not to say and remind people this is not a bait and switch strategy. So let's say you reply to my ad, Kate, you filled out the questionnaire, you look like an amazing family, it looks like a good fit, you're excited, I'm excited. I would make it very clear to you what I would say to you. This is what I would really say, Kate. You guys sound amazing. This shoot is going to be so much fun. The beach sounds great. I know the beach you want to go to for the photos. Just so you're aware, when you see your photos with the kids, you are going to fall in love with them. You are going to want all the photos. This is what happens to every mum when they come in. Now, you're going to get your free print, which is the 14x11. You can go home with that free print. But what most families do is they spend between $2,000 and $3,000 on additional wall art or albums when they see the photos. Are you comfortable with that? And then I've got to stop talking. I have to just let you absorb that and think about that. And I'm going to wait for your answer, because if I keep talking, that really doesn't give you a chance to think about what that really means, spending $2,000 or $3,000. I just have to shut up and let you absorb that, and then give me your feedback. I need you to speak next. So, and you might say, oh, Andrew, this sounds so good, but I'm in no position to spend $2,000 or $3,000. That's just not in our budget at the moment. And I'd say, listen, Kate, that is totally fine. If you want to, you can come in, we'll do the session and you can have your free print. That is totally fine. If you know that you're going to feel as uncomfortable as I said you will when you see all the photos, we could leave this for a few months and I could let you know when I'm running the special again, or you can just contact me when you're in a position to buy more when you want to do this session. So I'm going to put it back onto you. So I'm happy to give it away. I've said you're a great fit. I'm happy to do the free session. I'm pretty sure if you come in, you're going to want to spend more anyway. So, and now you're ready for it. You know what's going to happen, and it's going to be
Hmm.
difficult to walk away with just the free print. But if you want to, I'm happy to do that.
You're letting them know this is what it is. So there's no surprise when they come in and they're like, oh, I didn't know it was going, if I wanted extras, it was going to be this amount of
That's the
money.
worst.
I was thinking it was going to be this amount. So, yeah,
Yeah,
just giving
that's the
them,
worst. I don't want that. You don't want that.
right,
I don't want you to come in and have your partner not be aware of this.
right.
Like that's the worst for
Yes.
everyone.
And if you're like, this family is like, I really want to photograph them and to have them on, my website, in my portfolio, and I'm okay if they're not going to spend the money for extras, then you can, and they're okay with that, and they just want to come in and just do the free session and the free print. Um, I think it's that way of you figuring that out for you as the photographer and letting them know.
100%. Yeah, look, and like when I asked you earlier, who were we talking to, which photographer? And
Right.
you said we're talking about someone that's a little bit along in their journey. But if someone's starting out and they're looking to build their portfolio, they can do exactly what we've just talked about. And I would
Hmm.
highly encourage them to still do these free sessions, give away a free digital or an enlargement or a credit, whatever they want to. They're probably going to give away something,
Sure.
something physical, usually a digital file or maybe 3 or 4 digital files. I would say give away just one. And if you really, if you're looking to build your portfolio, this is a great way to do that. But if you want to build a business, you have to get comfortable charging for what you produce. So you maybe won't be charging as much as an experienced photographer, but there's no reason you can't charge 500, 1,000, $1,500 for all the digital files
Right.
if you're starting out. Okay, you
Right.
don't have to give away everything all the time, particularly if you want to make a business out of this.
Right. And that's always the hard thing. And it's like, you are a, if that's what you want, you are a business, and you have to
Yes.
remember that that it's a business.
100%. That's right. And that, no matter where you are in the journey. So even if I'm just starting and I think I want to make photography a business, even if it's a side hustle, then
Right.
I have to start charging. So I can give away free sessions and I can give away a digital file or an enlargement or a print, but I have to charge somewhere sometime. Otherwise, I'm
Hmm.
never going to have a business. It's always going to just be a hobby, which is fine
Hmm.
too if that's what you
If
want.
that's what you
And
want. Right.
yeah, you might learn that, oh my God, I do not want the stress of having to shoot in crappy weather, annoying kids,
Mm.
like
Yes. Yes.
dogs that won't cooperate. Maybe this just isn't for me. That's
Hmm.
fine. Just
Hmm.
keep it as a hobby. That's fine
Right.
too.
Right. So, Andrew, I kind of want to switch into, we have some questions from, I did a little like sneak peek of that I'm going to have you on the show, and I did that on Instagram and Facebook. And I did get some questions from some photographers, and
Awesome.
and one of the things you kind of touched on, the budget for running ads. And so this question says, I'd love to run ads, but I don't have a big enough budget.
So my first thought when you say that, and it's difficult to know without getting some more background, but
Right.
if someone says to me, I can't afford to run ads, that would say to me that they're not charging enough for their photography.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So, obviously, so let's say they're averaging $1,000 for a session. Okay, so I don't think that's high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's not super low, but let's say they're averaging $1,000. So how much? Like you need to have some idea of what it costs to do business. What's your cost of doing business? So
Right.
if it's $1,000 and it's all digital files, let's say for example,
Mm-hmm.
there's not much cost as far as product goes.
Right.
It might be a thumb drive. It might not even be that if you're using something like like a file transfer or Dropbox. So let's say there's no physical costs. You've got obviously got time costs. So I don't know how much do you want to, how much is your time worth for that $1,000?
Right.
I don't know. Let's say you don't want to invest. You want to at least be taking home $500 from that $1,000 shoot. So we've got $500 to play with. It's going to cover your, a little bit of your web hosting, and it's going to pay for a little bit of Dropbox because you've got multiple sessions. So you've got some little things coming out of that $500. So how much does that leave you to spend on the ads? It could be $100. Let's say it's $100 you've got left to book that one session.
Mm.
So that to me, it's like before we talked about using $100 for a 1 week ad, maybe $200.
Right.
So if you know that you can afford to spend $100 per shoot, okay, that doesn't mean you can pay $100 per lead, because you might need, let's use round numbers, 10 leads to actually get one booking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means I'm happy. I can pay $10 per lead. That's $100 for 10 leads, and out of those 10 leads, I'm going to get one booking. So that's the way I'm sort of breaking things down as far as costs go. You have to have an idea about your numbers. So first of all, you need to know what people are spending with you, or what they can spend with you. But if my average is $1,000 per session that I shoot, and that includes no sales, so I might have two no sales, two at 1,000, and a couple at $2,000. So give me my average.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm more than happy to pay $100 per shoot. I'll pay $100 to get a family in for sure,
Right. Right.
because I know that I'm going to get $1,000 back when I do the session,
Right.
and it's just then it becomes maths. Like the numbers
Yes.
make sense. So
Right.
would I pay $200 to make $1,000? Yeah. If my costs were low, would I pay 300? Yeah. That's getting up there now. My costs would have to be really, really low for me to
Mm-hmm.
pay $300 to make 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have a pretty seamless workflow and make it easy to do the sessions. I probably wouldn't want to be doing a 4-hour outdoor session, for $600 or
Right.
$700.
Right.
So it has to
Right.
make sense, but
In
it's easy
your,
to look.
yeah.
Yeah, in my setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I hope. Look, if that doesn't answer the question, you can put that photographer in touch with me, and we can have a chat.
Okay. So another question that I had on Instagram from another photographer is that they've tried ads before, but they didn't really work, and they're just afraid to spend the money on it again.
Yeah.
Is there, and I wonder if it's just the SEO type thing, or that headline you were talking about.
Yeah, look, it could be a number of things. You know what? Honestly, what happens with, I would say, every photographer is nothing works the first time
Mm,
as good as it possibly can. It never does. Like
right.
you might rarely fluke it where it works the first time.
Right.
If you followed step by step, maybe there's a course or another photographer's talked you through it, or a coach. But generally, you need to tweak things until they work better and better and better. So,
Yes.
you know, if this photographer who asked the question, if they follow along with what I shared today, uh, and then try that out, you only need to get one or two bookings usually, and you think, okay, this works now, and then you
Yes.
can test, make a slight change for the next one, maybe increase the budget, maybe change the headline. You make little tweaks at a time. You could try something totally different, and then measure it against the one that got you two bookings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, look, things just they never sky. They don't. Well, I'm going to say never. That's not really right. It's very rare for something just to work at the very first time perfectly. There's always
Right.
things that can be tweaked and made better.
Yes. And yes, I feel like that's in anything life.
Exactly, 100%. That's right. That's right. And look, Kate, just really quickly with the other question, what I would
Yeah.
say, and to the listener in general that's looking at running ads, you need to treat your leads like absolute gold. So,
Mm,
if I get, even though I've advertised for 5 free sessions, if I get 20 leads and 15 of them sound good, I am going to do everything I can to nurture and get those people booked in for sessions, because if I've got people in front of my camera, this goes back to what we said in the very beginning. If I'm photographing people and delivering a great experience and showing them great images, that's the only time they're going to buy. Like I have
Right.
to create buying opportunities for clients for me to have a successful business. Otherwise,
Hmm.
I don't have a business. So treat them like gold, nurture them, deliver a great experience, create fantastic images, and allow them to spend money with you.
Those are great tips and things that I think even if you're not just a photographer in 1 to 3 years, that if you're a photographer in 20 years, like just to keep hearing that.
Yeah, look, it reminds me. There's a guy in Australia, Nick Buttigieg. He's had a series of coaches over the years, a very successful photographer, and he's run these ads very successfully. He does other things these days as well as the ads, but in the earlier days, he was trying to be very careful with the leads. So he would say bring in 100 leads from an
Mm,
ad
mm,
campaign.
hmm.
He would do everything he could to find the best leads, who he thought would be the best possible families that are likely to spend more money. And so out of those 100 leads, he might photograph 20
Okay.
as a round number. Today, if you talk to him, he's going to do everything he can to photograph 80, even though
Mm,
60 might not sound like a great fit. But he knows that if he can photograph 60 families, deliver a great experience, show them amazing images, there's a really good chance 50 of them will spend what his average is. So,
mm,
whereas in the past he was trying to overqualify the leads, only photograph 20 of the best families, but now he said, you know what? Let me photograph 80 and 60 will buy. I
right.
don't need to find the 20. Just let me keep shooting every day, all day. Well,
Yes.
maybe not all day, but every
But
day.
yeah. No,
So
that's
he's creating buying opportunities for his clients. That's all he
yeah.
wants. Let them choose whether they want to spend and how much they want to spend. But I just got to give them the opportunity to spend with me. It doesn't sound difficult, does it? But I
No,
mean, we
it
all make it.
doesn't. It doesn't. I did like your where you were like, and I say this and then be quiet because I have to do that to myself too, where it's because I'm like, oh, but yeah. So yeah, I have to just be like, this is what it is, and then like you said, let them process and then let them spend.
It works so well. And my wife Linda. She's the worst. If there's any silence, she has to fill it. So that's not good for sales.
Right, right. I know. I know. I'm like her.
Yeah. It's difficult because we feel uncomfortable. We feel like we have to justify what our prices are and our
Right.
worth,
Yes.
whereas we don't. Just you decide. Leave the ball in your court.
So, Andrew, you mentioned the a cheat sheet, and I know that that's something that our listeners are going to get. That'll be linked in the show notes. Can you kind of give just a little like preview of what that cheat sheet is?
Yeah, so that will step people through exactly what I talked about with you today. So they'll talk about the headline, creating the reason, the hooks, the call to action, and making your ad shareable. And then it steps you through what to do each step of the way. So if they listen to the podcast, this interview, and they have the cheat sheet next to them, or they
Mm,
refer back to it, they can follow along, and they should have an ad up and running, like literally by the time they finish listening to the podcast.
okay.
And it should be that simple. It really should be. But if someone gets stuck, like honestly, they can feel free to email me. It's super easy to get the cheat sheet. I can give you the link now if you want to, Kate.
Sure.
Yeah, if the listener goes to photobizx.com/cheat sheet, that will take them straight to the download page, and they can download the cheat sheet there. So it's photobizx.com/cheat sheet, all one word.
Perfect. And like I said, I'll put it in the show notes as well. So it'll be easy to find. And thank you so much for giving that to the listeners. That's awesome. Andrew, can you tell us where people can find you and dive into your podcast and connect with you?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So the website is photobizx.com. And from there, you can find the interviews, or you can just go to wherever you listen to this podcast with Kate, or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. So whether that's Spotify, Apple, Downcast, Pocket Cast, whatever, wherever you listen to your podcast, just search for Photo Biz X or Photography Business Exposed, and you'll find the podcast.
Is there an upcoming topic you're excited that you're going to be having on your podcast?
It's always different. But look, the 100% focus is photography business for wedding and portrait photographers. And when I say portrait, that's headshot photographers, family, newborn, pet photographers, boudoir photographers. Sorry, just really quickly, Kate, as a side note, we've talked a lot about generating leads and doing shoots and giveaways. That doesn't work. It doesn't work as well for something like boudoir photography. Just in case there's a listener here who's shooting boudoir, where you're, you have a makeup artist and a hairstylist, and it's a 4-hour session.
Sure.
You have to be a little bit more picky there. You certainly have to be very, very upfront about what the investment might be afterwards and what people generally spend.
Yes,
but
yes.
Generally, that's going to be the more experienced photographer, a different sort of set of photographers to what we were using as an example.
Right.
Yeah. So the podcast, it's all photography business. We don't talk about exposures and shutter speeds and editing. There's so many other podcasts for those kind of things.
Sure.
It's all business.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for spending the morning and your evening. This was awesome. And I feel like the real world wisdom that you're giving with the Facebook ads and just business side of photography is amazing, and I think the listeners are going to love it.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been fun, and like I said, it's been nice to be on the other side of the mic. So thank you so much for being such a beautiful host.
I was going to say, I hope this was hope this was good.
Well, if it wasn't, it's on me. I was the one answering the questions.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Kate.
Welcome to the Photo Confession Booth.
Hey, Kate, it's Andrew here from PhotoBizX. You've asked me to record a short photography or photography business tip that has to be 30 to 60 seconds long to help your viewer, your listener, with their photography business. And one of the best tips I've heard for the photographer who is anything like me and quickly forgets the name of clients, which can be totally embarrassing, especially if you turn up to a shoot, you're halfway through and you just can't remember the name of the people in front of your camera. Yes, that has happened to me. I know it does happen to other photographers too. So my tip is, once you format your card or cards at the start of the session, what you do is you write the names of the clients down on a piece of paper. I usually do this on top of my camera bag in the boot of my car, write down their names, and I take a photo of their names. That's the very first photo on my card. So if at any time during the session I need to remember their names because I've forgotten, I quickly press play to see the last image, and I go scroll back to see the very first image. So it's just one flick of the button and you'll see the very first image on the screen, and that will be the names of your clients. And you can continue shooting with their names at the top of your mind. So no more embarrassing moments. Super easy, super quick, super simple, and it works extremely well. So hopefully that helps you with your photography business and helps you avoid any of those embarrassing moments where you forget the names of your clients while you're photographing them.
That's a wrap on today's episode of The One Behind the Lens. Huge thank you to Andrew for sharing his business brain with us and for making ads, pricing, and PhotoBiz strategy feel a lot less scary. If you've been spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to get clients in the door or what to charge, I hope you're walking away with fresh clarity and a plan to try something new. Don't forget, Andrew is offering that free Facebook ad cheat sheet, and I've linked it for you right in the show notes. Go grab it. If this episode gave you an aha moment or even just a little spark of motivation, I'd love for you to leave a review, share it with a photo friend, or tag me on Instagram while you listen. You're doing great things, my friend. Keep going. and I will see you next time on The One Behind the Lens. And don't forget, let's shutter up and shine, friends.